Hey there, my name is Kelly Dale with Off the Beaten Path in Forest City, North Carolina. About 3 years ago, I did a video on how to make an open three-dimensional heart. Although it's been watched a lot of times, I got a lot of negative comments about people who said they couldn't see the video really well because of the colors. I used some dark color beads. So I'm hoping that this video will rectify some of the people who weren't able to do it or master it because of the colors of the video. So today I'm going to be showing you again how to make the three-dimensional heart, which will be great for the upcoming Valentine's Day. I'm going to be using some 6mm Bicones and 4mm Bicones to actually teach you the project with, so that way they're a lot bigger too, so you'll be able to see them better. Normally for the pendant you'll use 4mm and 3mm, but again today, just for the teaching purposes, I'm going to use 6s and 4s. So for a pendant, you will need 84 4mm Bicones and about 69 3mm Bicones. You're also going to need some 6-pound fire line and 2 needles. So go ahead and get your materials together and we'll get started. To start, you'll want to thread a needle onto each end of about 1 yard of fire line. Thread on 4 4mm and let them fall to the middle of your thread. You're going to take one needle and come back through the first bead you threaded on. So I'm using my right hand needle. I'm coming back through that one bead, and I'm going to put my needles together and kind of pull that thread so that when I finish, those beads are centered on the thread and it makes a little box of 4 beads just like we have here. On the right hand needle, I'm going to pick up a 3mm. On the left hand needle, I'm going to pick up one 4mm, and I'm going to let those beads fall. And on one needle, I'm going to pick up one 4mm, and I'm going to cross my needles opposite ways through this one bead. So it'll look just like this. I'm going to repeat this step again until I have 6 total 3mm here on the inside. So again, the right hand needle is picking up a 3mm, left hand picks up a 4mm, and then on one needle pick up one 4mm and cross your needles opposite ways through that one bead. You're going to continue this same little box, like I said, until you have 6 total 3mm here along the inside. Once you have the 6 beads to the inside, this is what your piece will look like. Now, on each needle, you want to pick up one 6mm and let that fall. And then pick up 4mm. You're doing 4mm. And then you'll pick up one 4mm and you'll cross your needles opposite ways through that one bead so that it makes a box of just the 4mm. We want to do this one more time. So on each needle, you're going to pick up a 4mm, and then on one needle, pick up one 6mm, cross your needles opposite way, or 4mm, and cross your needles opposite ways through that 4mm. So you can see our heart is starting to take shape. This is going to be the center of our heart here, and it's coming around to form the point of the heart. Now, with this left hand needle, you're going to pick up 2 4mm. On the right hand needle, pick up one 4mm and cross your needles opposite ways through this one bead. So you're crossing through the one on the right. This is going to be the one that's going to form the point, the bottom point here of our heart. With each needle, you want to pick up a 4mm and then pick up one 4mm and cross your needles opposite ways through this one bead. We're going to do this one more time. So each needle picks up a 4mm and then pick up one 4mm, cross your needles opposite ways through this one bead. Now we're going to start back with the smaller boxes here. So the inside needle picks up a 3mm, the outside needle picks up a 4mm, and then we pick up one 4mm and cross our needles opposite ways through this one bead. Again, the inside needle picks up a 3mm, outside needle picks up a 4mm, and then we're going to pick up one 4mm and cross opposite ways through this one bead. You're going to continue until you have 5. You only want 5 of these smaller ones here in the center. Now that I have these 5 3mm here in the center, I'm ready to actually connect the two sides of the heart so that it'll make one complete piece. These 2 beads here are going to be the very center point of the heart. So we've got a bead connected here, and then we're going to connect here. So this inside needle, the one coming out towards the center, is going to pick up a 3mm, and you're going to go through the 4mm at the top of your little set of 4 here in the center. The outside needle picks up a 4mm, and you're going to take this needle and go through that same 4mm you just went through the other direction, so that when you pull, your heart will look just like this. So you're going to tie off this thread and make another heart exactly identical to this one. Once you have the second heart complete, this is what your piece will look like. We're going to be working here on the inside point of the heart first. I've got a needle threaded on each end of about 1.5 yards of fire line. On that needle, I'm going to pick up one 3mm, and I'm going to let it fall onto the thread. I'm going to take one needle and go through the left center little circle here. I'm going through the left 4mm bicone. I'm going to take the first or the second heart that I completed, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go through that left 6mm or 4mm bicone, I should say. And I'm going to put those needles together so that when I pull, that little 3mm that I added is now in the very center of the heart. The heart is actually connected at that point now. And if I take these 2 needles and pull them like this, you can see how they're now connected in that one space. I'm going to hold my heart just like this so that you can see kind of what we're doing. We're going to be working around the center of the heart first. So from where I'm at, I'm going to take and pick up one 3mm with one needle, and I'm going to cross my needles opposite ways through that one 3mm and pull. I'm going to take each needle and go through the 3mm to the left and to the right of that bead that I just added. So again, take the right needle and go through the 3mm here on the right. Take the left needle and go through the 3mm here on the left. I'm going to lay it back down. Pick up one 3mm. Cross your needles opposite ways through that one 3mm. Whoop. Pull. Take the right hand needle and you're going to go through the 3mm here on the right. Take the left hand needle, go through the 3mm here on the left. So if we fold it together, we can see that now this is where we're starting the connection here in the center of the circle. One needle picks up a, let me get my needles fixed, there we go. One needle picks up a 3mm, and you're going to cross your needles opposite ways through that 3mm. And once I pull this one through, I'm going to show you a different way to do this, so that if you're not a fan of the having to pick up and cross and then pick it back up, this might work for you. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the right hand needle and go through the 3mm on the right, and then take the left hand needle and go through the 3mm here on the left. Now this is, again, if you don't like the cross weave technique, I'm going to pick up the needle on the right. I'm going to pick up one 3mm, and I'm going to come across to this next 3mm, so not the one directly across, but the next one, and I'm going to go up through that one there on the left. Then you'll take the left hand needle, you'll go through the bead you just added there on the right, and then up through the 3mm on the right. So it looks identical, you just did it a little bit of a different way. So again, I'll show you that again. You can take a 3mm on the right hand needle. I'm not going to go through the 3mm directly across. I'm going to go through the next one here on the left. Then I'm going to take the left hand needle. I'm going to go through the bead I just added here with the right hand needle. And then through the next bead on the right. So again, with this right hand needle, I'll take one 3mm. I'm going to go through the next bead here on the left, and then you can take the left needle, go through the bead that you just added with the right hand needle, and then through the next bead here on the right. So I'm going to set it down. You can do it however you want to. I'm going to pick up a 3mm, cross it opposite ways, and now I'm done with my 3mm on each side, and now I'm to the 4mm. So you'll just go up through each 4mm to the right, and then to the left. And you'll want to go around putting a 3mm into each of your spaces all around the center, just like we've done here on this top part of the heart. So you can see now on the inside where we've got it connected. And by the time you get all the way back around, the whole inside of your heart will be connected. Once the inside is completely connected, this is what your heart will look like. I've stitched my needles to come out of beads that are opposite each other here along the top edge. And you'll just want to come out of beads that are side by side here, and you're going to go around the whole edge of the outside, adding the 3mm just like you did on the inside. You just want to do it around the whole perimeter of the outer edge. Once you've gone all the way around the outer edge, connecting the bicones there on the edge, this is what your piece will look like. Now this is my piece using the 6mm. This is the original piece using the 4 and the 3mm. So you can see there's a big difference in size. There's also a difference in the flexibility of it. This is a pretty flexible piece, whereas this one here is a lot stiffer. So that's the thing you have to think about there. On this one, I will probably go back and put a seed bead, a size 8 seed bead in each of these spaces here around the outer holes, just to see if it will stiffen it up a little bit more. In the original video, I showed how to take a piece of chain and basically take the chain and thread it straight through the piece, which I can't do it with that, but take it and you thread it through the piece so that your chain will go through it and hang like this, or however you can basically get it through. I did that on the original video, and you can go back and see that video from 3 years ago. On the pattern, I take and I make a seed bead loop right here on the piece so that it hangs to the side, and that works out good too. But what I'm going to do on this one, since it's so much bigger, I've tied off one of my threads, and I'm coming out of the bead right here in the center of the heart. And I'm going to use seed beads and make a seed bead loop so that I can make a little bit of a longer necklace and dangle this down from a longer necklace. So to see all the finishing techniques, you can go back to the video from 3 years ago to see that. But I just wanted you to see, see a different version of this 3D heart pendant with the bigger beads. So that way maybe you had a little bit of an easier time seeing and learning it. We do have the pattern for sale on our website, which is offthebeadedpathbeadstore.com. And we do have kits for the dark sapphire and this medium cyan. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time.